What's up, big ballers, shot callers? Big Ken here. Joined by my co-host and best friend Monty Brown. Wow, what an exciting college football semifinals, and also an exciting week in the NFL. A lot of unexpected things happening in the NFL, but man, the big takeaway you, the big takeaway is, man, those college football semifinals, man, those games couldn't have been any better. Um, Michigan win in overtime against Alabama, and then Texas UW, but
Yes.
the game going down to the very last play of the game. Texas had a chance to score to win it, but UW held on. So we'll talk about the recaps of that game and talk about the
Wow.
recaps of some of the NFL games, and then some things happening. Like I said, some things happening in the NFL where there's some seeding changes, and we'll go into our predictions like always. But let's start off with Michigan Alabama, since that was the first semifinal game. That game was something else, Monty. That had me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, for one, man, it looks like the committee got it right. Man, we were talking about
Absolutely.
should Florida State, shouldn't Florida State be in there? And man, thank goodness they weren't. We saw what happened to them. I
Yeah.
mean, we can talk about players sitting out all you want, but even if their players did play, they still wouldn't have been able to match any of these teams in the Final Four, I
No,
believe.
they wouldn't have.
They just
They
got
wouldn't have been 60 something to three, but they would have lost
man.
they would have lost handily still, though. You're right. Yeah, there's no
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they got it right. It was it was fun to talk about, but no, this matchup was these matchups were for the building, man. Just like we talked about last week. Seems like we were right on the money. I thought that Michigan and Alabama game would be low scoring. Pretty much was till the end, and expected a shootout for that Texas game, and boy, was that a shootout. Tell you what, man. But man, unfortunately, with this new schedule, I didn't wasn't able to see much. I kept up with much as I could, and looks like Michigan almost let that slip away with their special teams. A couple of missed kicks, a couple of muffed
Yeah,
punt
that would drive me
returns.
nuts. Oh my God.
Yeah, I bet. I was thinking about you on that one, but I was right on the result. I knew that they would win that, well, not handily, but barely squeak out a win there, and they got it. So it was a shame to miss most of it, but I'm sure looking forward to this final. That's for sure.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be a good final. I think it's gonna be a really good final. Well, before we get into recaps, you know, we can. Well, first of all, these two teams haven't been in the finals in a long time. Last time Michigan was in it was 1997, and last time UW was in 1991. And both teams they shared their national championship. Michigan shared with Nebraska in '97, and UW shared with Miami, I believe, in 1991. So these teams have not been in the finals in a long time. So I think that makes it interesting. Some people may not like it, but I'm glad there's new teams, new blood.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but let's get into the games though, and then we'll talk about what we think is going to happen in the championship game with UW and Michigan. Yeah, Michigan got off to a good start in the first half. Well, overall, let's go back to the first drive of the game though. Michigan gets the ball first. McCarthy throws an interception on the first throw, but
That's not like him. He takes care of the ball usually.
he dodged a bullet because Alabama's defensive back, his foot was out of bounds, and he was the first one to touch the ball, come back in, so that's illegal. So he got very, very lucky. Um, Michigan still went 3-and-out, but I was just glad we didn't get interception, on the 25-yard line. That'd been very easy for Alabama to score. But Michigan played their butt off on defense, and like you said, special teams, Monty. Michigan makes Alabama go 3-and-out first drive game, sacked them twice in one possession. I mean, and that was the story of the first half, basically Michigan sacking the Milrow. But on the punt, like you said, their freshman punt returner, who Harbaugh likes, he muffs it. Alabama has the ball first and 10 on the 25-yard line. They score in like 3 or 4 plays. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. This is so Michigan. And then Michigan comes back, great drive, great bounce back drive in the second drive of the game. They tie it 7-7. And then, I don't think Michigan had too many 3-and-outs, but Alabama, I think, had 4 3-and-outs out of 6 drives.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan was, Michigan was up 13-7, but then Alabama got a last-second field goal to make it 13-10 right before the half. I felt like Michigan could have been up by more. If it wasn't for that muff punt. I feel like it could have been a 13-3 game instead of 13-10. But that muff punt, made it very easy for Alabama to score an easy touchdown, only having to go 25 yards. So I was a little nervous though because it was a close game. Michigan, I was happy Michigan was up at halftime, but I was nervous because, like I said, I felt like it could have been 13-3, and I thought that muff punt, and we missed the extra point. We didn't miss it. They botched up the snap on the extra point. That's why it was 13-10, not 14-10. So can't forget about that.
Yes.
Two miscues on special teams in the first half, and then I feel like they could be up by more, and they weren't, and that had me scared. And I knew Alabama was really good at making second half adjustments, and they did. Alabama dominated the third quarter. Well, no team scored in the third quarter, but you could tell they're dominant. It was still 13-10 going into the fourth quarter, but Alabama had momentum. And they scored a touchdown early in the fourth quarter on their drive, and they're up 17-13. And then Michigan kept on going 3 and out, just like Alabama did in the first half. Like I said, it was a game and a half. And next thing you know, they're up 20-13. We get a fumble recovery, but then we missed the field goal kick. Blake McCorum, it looked like we're going to have a promising drive after we got the, fumble, which we needed desperately. But after that, Blake McCorum, they did this trick play. It didn't work. This, pitch back play.
Yes.
Blake McCorum made a bag toss back, and McCarthy couldn't catch it. It fell on the ground, so McCarthy had no choice but just to jump on it to save a turnover. That killed the whole drive, and then we missed the field goal. So I thought for sure, honestly, we were going to lose. At that point, I felt like we were going to lose.
And what did I say about that the last show? Michigan, the most inopportune time, they'll throw in that wrinkle. I know they were doing it a lot, but that wasn't the time.
It was not the time. It was a bad play call. Granted, Corum messed it up. Corum had a really good game overall. I'm really proud of that kid. I love that kid, but he messed that play up. It may have not worked anyway. But in the first half, going back to the first half real quick, they had a trick play that actually worked. Edwards was running back, and he allowed it back to McCarthy. McCarthy made a really good freaking catch. If he didn't catch that ball was live because it was a backwards lateral. But he makes this crazy catch, with one hand to save the play. Then he throws it like 30 yards downfield to Romeo Wilson. So one trick play worked and the other one didn't. But I was glad Michigan somehow showed the guts with like 3 minutes to go in the game. They get the ball back, and they had to go for on fourth down right away, and they get it, and that kind of got their confidence. I mean, they're going for on fourth down, like on their own 30-yard line. I'm like, man, this is the game right here. And they get it. And after that, their play calling was really good. Romeo Wilson makes another crazy catch. I thought for sure the Alabama defensive back was going to intercept the ball, but he plucks that ball out of midair.
Yes.
Big pass play. Then McCorum throws a touchdown pass to Romeo Wilson. They did a misdirection play. That was tricking Alabama all game. They should have kept on doing misdirections because every time Michigan did that, Alabama fell for it. It worked a lot in the first half too. But I'm just glad they made it 20-20. But I was still nervous about the extra point because we were screwing up special teams. Like, man, I was telling my friends, my buddies, so they better not miss this extra point and lose 20-19. I would lose my mind. But thank God they made it. 20-20. Then we get the ball first in overtime. McCorum has an amazing touchdown run to go up 27-20. And then, we held Alabama. So on 4th and goal, we held them. So it was a crazy game. But, yeah, Michigan special teams, they need to clean that up against UW. They cannot have that kind of game on special teams 2 times in a row. I don't think they'll get away with it a second time. Not at all. You got any comments on that, Monty?
Yeah, I caught that last. Well, I didn't catch the overtime. I did catch that last attempt of a trick play, and I did catch that good catch that McCorum had, and that kept him in it. I don't know if that was a bad throw or just he made it. It was just a great catch. Great catch. NFL type catch that you see. That was good. Kept him in it. I like how Michigan the character, they weren't in all of the Roll Tide, the Alabama aura, so to speak. I mean that and what impressed me was Harbaugh. Like you mentioned in previous shows, he tends to choke on these big games, and no, he stepped up this game, and can't wait to see what he does in this
He
championship.
did well. I can't wait either. He got the monkey off his back. If he loses against UW, I don't think he's in trouble. I mean, obviously
No, no,
it'd be disappointing.
yeah,
I know Brad had mentioned that, and Brad's done really well on both shows he's been on. I like his comments, I like his
yes,
feedback, but I agree with him on some things. But on that, I disagree with him about. He said if he loses like UW or Texas, it'll be worse than losing to Alabama. But I don't think so. Because he's got that one big bowl win. Hopefully, he can just finish this thing off.
yeah,
What Harbaugh needs to worry about is if he loses like 2 or 3 bowl games again, then they're going to be on his butt again. Like, man, this guy lost 6 in a row, finally won a huge one against Alabama. Now he's losing again. He's
yeah.
lost 8 or 9 out of 10. That's what he needs to avoid. Because then the critics will really be on him, including me. So, but if he wins this national championship, first one since 1997, like he's on a different level.
Yeah.
He
Right.
will shut everyone up, including myself, because then he's going to be a college football coach with a national championship under his belt. So that would really shut everyone up and see if he wins this national championship. I know that. So yeah, but I think the monkey is off his back even if he doesn't.
Yeah, and no matter what happens, yeah,
Yeah, because
exactly.
that win against Alabama is huge. Like I said, he had a great. I mean, Michigan showed a lot of poise because they looked out. Man, I'm telling you, they looked out.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama dominated most of that second half. Like I said, it got flipped around how we dominated the first, but they dominated the second. We couldn't hardly get any first downs. I think we only had 1 first down going into the fourth quarter. I mean, it didn't look good. So, but credit JJ McCarthy for keeping his head in there. Credit Blake McCorum. Just credit their whole team. Credit their defense. The defense was amazing.
Yes.
5 or 6 sacks in the first half, then they get another 1 or 2 in the second half. So they had like 7 or 8 sacks for the game. It was insane. Yeah, it was just a great game, man. Like, yeah, Michigan needed this one, man. Michigan really, really needed this, and I'm glad that they got it, man. Not really just for the coach, but really for the players. I mean, obviously it helps out Harbaugh a lot, but I'm just happy for the players because this time's been coming for them for a long time, and they've been sticking together. No one's left for the NFL. Everyone's kind of stayed together.
Yes.
Because they wanted to see this happen. So I'm glad it did for them.
Well, they knew they had something special on this team, both Alabama and Michigan, for both these teams from the start. So that's good to see that a lot of them hung around to see this through, and man, it made for a good playoff.
Absolutely.
So yeah, glad to see it.
Yeah, let's get into the UW Texas game. Score was tied 21-21 at halftime. UW was always in the lead, but then Texas kept on tying it. So
yes,
yeah, but there were some defensive plays. Even though it was 21-21, both teams had punted the ball a couple times in the first half. So there was good play on both sides. Of course, the offenses were the strength of both teams, but
yes,
but the defense did make some plays when they need to. There was some punts. UW had a couple turnovers in the game. I think one in the first half and one they forced one turnover in the first half and another one in the second. But we have to talk about Michael Penix, man. That guy went off over 400 passing yards. I think 255 at the end of the first half.
yes.
Penix should have won the Heisman. No offense to the LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels, but I'm telling you, Penix to me is the Heisman winner. That
Absolutely.
performance in that game just proves that.
Yeah.
And he was throwing to multiple receivers, man. Like he was throwing everybody. He got his whole team involved in that game. A little bit concerned about UW's running back. He gets hurt late in the fourth quarter on the last drive for UW. He gets hurt. They're saying he's coming back to play. They're saying he's fine. He's been having this nagging injury the past 3 or 4 weeks, and he kind of re-aggravated it. But he says he's okay. He's already been playing through it for 3 or 4 weeks. So he's going to play through it again. So he says he's going to be fine. there was something that happened at the end of the game. I was talking about on Facebook. I don't know if you read my post, Monty, but when Texas got the ball back, you know, but the reason is college rules are different than high school.
Yes.
I knew Texas had no timeouts. I was like, how are they not running this clock down? Why is there still 50 seconds left? It's because when UW's running back got hurt, you know, they asked the Texas coach, they want a 10-second runoff, and of course he was going to say no, so the clock doesn't start
Right.
until the snap. And in high school, that is totally different. Like once an injured player and the training staff is off the field, that clock is running. Like you see the white hat doing this, that clock is going. So that had me tricked. That's because I'm thinking about me being a high school official, not that's the difference with college and NFL versus high school. I was like, why they got so much time left? But you know, Texas got down there, they got close, but UW's defense was timely. I said it in other shows, man. UW's defense isn't gonna be off the charts. You know, they're ranked 90th overall, I think. You know, as in the nation, but they are timely. Like so, they forced 2 turnovers that game, and they stopped them at the end to win. You know, so you know, credit UW's defense, and UW did take control in the third quarter. Like I said, it was 21-12 at halftime, but they outscored them 10-0 in the third quarter. Then they added another field goal in the fourth. They're up 34-21, but credit, you know, Texas for coming back and almost trying to win it, you know, in the end. But UW had the lead pretty much all game though. Texas was just I won't say they were very much in the game, but they just kept on coming back to tie it.
And catch up.
They were just always tying it all the time. What's your take, Monty?
It appears that we talked a little bit about last week with Texas's weaknesses. Looks like that UW exploited that secondary of Texas. I know they have a very good front, but their corners and their safeties are a little suspect. It's tough enough stopping Penix as it is, but when your secondary is your Achilles heel of your team, is going to get exploited. And that's what it looks like Washington did. I mean,
oh man,
like you mentioned, they were pretty much ahead the whole game outside of a couple of ties, and Texas playing catch up the entire game.
Yeah,
it made for a good game, but ultimately that may have cost them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Dunze was the lead receiver, which is he's gonna be the number. You know, he's gonna be the first round draft pick, probably in top 10. But
oh yeah.
But the other 2 guys did good. Polk is another. UW has 2,000-yard receivers. The Dunze, of course, and Polk. Both of them had good games. And that, like I said last show, number 11, McMillan came back.
Yes.
He had a big touchdown catch and like 4 or 5 catches for the game. So they have 3 very good receivers. They got this number 37 guy, a walk-on. Like kind of like a fullback, tight end type white guy, like straight walk on. Only played like 3 or 4 games in high school.
Man.
And he walks on to UW and he makes the team. So he's an interesting story. His last name is Westover. Yeah, he only plays like 3 games in high school because he got hurt, but he went to like a UW, I guess, camp before his senior year, and I guess he like won like the MVP for the camp or something. Like he had like a really good camp, hardly playing any high school football. That's why UW remembered him, and they asked him to come try out for the team, and this guy freaking makes it. He's a senior, right? He's a senior right now. So talk about walk-ons and not, you know, giving up on your dream. You know, like holy crap, that guy number 37 West. He had a good game too. He had some really good catches. That guy's got his hands are like glue. If the ball touches his hands, that dude is not dropping it. So he's impressive. So all you kids out there that, you know, you may not get the scholarship you want, but if you think you're good enough, man, go out like that guy did, and he made the team. So
good example.
Good example. So, you know, sometimes guys get overlooked. There's always diamonds in the rough, and you know, he's one of them. But yeah, UW's got the receivers. That's what's going to be interesting with the Michigan UW matchup. So
man,
let's talk about that. I think keys to the game for Michigan, they have to get a lot of pressure on Mr. Michael Penix like they did against Alabama's quarterback.
Yes.
He's good at avoiding pressure, though, real good. But so is Milroe. Milroe is a beast.
Mhm.
But I was surprised how many times Michigan sacked Milroe, actually. But UW's offensive line's only given up like 10 or 11 sacks all year, so something's got to
Mhm.
give. So they've done a really good job protecting Penix this year. But Michigan is on a whole other level on defense right now, so it's going to be interesting. I don't know if they get like 7 or 8 sacks like they did against Alabama, but if they can get, I think, 3 or 4 sacks, especially timely sacks on like third down, make them punt.
Mhm.
Hopefully force Penix into interception, maybe one of the running backs a fumble, or Michigan needs to get a couple turnovers or at least make them punt a lot or hold them to field goals. Don't let them score touchdowns. That's the key to the game for Michigan defensively. Offensively, I think they still got to use the tight end. I was surprised that they didn't use Michigan didn't use Loveland. He only had 2 catches, but I'm telling you, Loveland is good, and I still think he's another key to this game against UW because Michigan. I mean, not Michigan. UW is weakest against the pass, so tight end would be key.
Yes.
Michigan still needs to run the ball because UW's just not as good on defense as what Alabama is and what Texas is. So they just need to play, I think, another like 50-50 game like they did last time, or 60-40, like I said, run 60% of the time and throw 40, or 50-50. If they do that, I think Michigan would be just fine because I know they're confident. Like I said before, I love the 2-headed monster with Blake Corum and Edwards. They're a good running back duo. They got good tight ends. They have a couple good receivers. Romeo Wilson, is probably their best one. But there's some other guys that can step up. But Michigan's defensive backs. Going back to that, Michigan's defensive backs need to do well against UW's receivers on defense. Going back to that, Michigan has some good defensive backs. They played well against Alabama's receivers. Hopefully, they can do the same thing against UW. But UW has a lot of targets. That's what makes them scary. They have a lot of options, man. So on offense, so could be a shootout. Michigan's defense is good, but I know they're not going to hold them scoreless. There's no way. UW's offense is too good. So I'm predicting the final score to be, I say 30-24 Michigan, or maybe like 34-27. I think it's going to be up there a little bit. 34-27 Michigan. What do you got, Monty?
All right. Well, for sure, the key is going to be for Michigan's defense to throw off Penix's timing with those receivers. Man, they have a connection.
They have to.
I
You
tell
have
you,
to get pressure on them. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not just with their number 1 receiver; it's with all of them. So that's going to be a task at hand to begin with for them. Michigan's defensive front is good enough to do that. They gave Alabama fits. They kept their they contained Alabama's quarterback. Didn't necessarily stop him. He's tough, but they kept him in check for the most part.
Yeah, he had a couple good runs, but they said they kept him in
much.
check. Yeah, he did have some nice runs.
And the thing with Penix, he's not much of a runner. I mean, he's more of a pocket quarterback. He'll run if he has to, but he's similar to McCarthy. They're both in the pocket. They're not going to run unless they have to. So
yeah,
they're just going to have to get pressure on them. And I agree with you 100% on Michigan's tight end. Like we talked about last week, Michigan's game is a good ball-controlled offense, very little turnovers. They take care of the ball. Of course, that's key for this game. And get that tight end involved to open up that run game and that passing game. I think he's going to be key.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be key.
I was surprised he wasn't key in the Alabama game. They tried going to him, looked like a couple times on some plays, and Alabama was doing a good job covering him. But I think he's going to be, key in this game.
Yeah.
The person that surprised me in the Alabama game was Romeo Wilson. He did more than I thought he would. So hopefully he can do the same thing 2 times in a row, along with Michigan's tight end Loveland, and of course, Blake Corum keeps on being Blake Corum.
Yes.
And McCarthy takes care of the ball, like you said. Yeah, it's definitely. I think this game is not going to be boring. I think it's going to be.
No.
I think Michigan's defense will show up at times, but there will be some times where they will get burnt, and they can't stop UW all games. There's just no way. So I expect it to be a little bit more high scoring, like I said, than the 2020 game going to overtime against
Yeah.
Alabama. I don't think it's
Yeah,
gonna be in
same
the
here.
I don't think it's gonna be in the 40s, but it could be in the 30s. Like
Yeah.
I said, 34-27, 34-30,
Yeah.
something like that. But I got Michigan winning, like I said
I
already.
I expect it to be one of the best championships we've seen in recent time. For sure, it'll be better than last year's. We're not going to see a 50-something to 7 blowout by every
Yeah, that
team.
was horrible. I'm glad
That's
I didn't
not going to
watch
happen.
it.
But no, I expect this to be one of the best ones we've seen. I got Michigan winning. Ooh, I say I don't know, 31-27.
Yeah, I I think it's
31-27.
gonna be somewhere right around there. I'm with you,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, back and forth, back and forth. It's gonna be a great game. I wish Texas would have been in it, but hey, I'm not mad. I
No,
love
Texas
Washington. I
played
love
well, man. They
Penix.
did. But all four
Yeah,
teams played well. That's what made this
yes,
conference so exciting so far. Is all like
yeah,
both teams came up. All four teams
yeah,
came out to play. Excuse me, in the semifinals game. It
yeah,
made for very entertaining games.
yeah, yeah. I
And
love it. I mean, I'm good with what I'm seeing.
yeah,
I'm good with this matchup.
yeah, this should be good, man. Should be fun.
Yeah.
And whoever wins it, it's gonna be their first one since the '90s. So
Oh
this
yeah,
should be
yeah.
interesting. So we'll see. Let's get into some NFL, Monty. Moving on to NFL. Um,
Whew. Boy,
wow,
how about them
we
Cowboys?
got some big matchups. Pittsburgh beat Seattle. Um, didn't catch that game too much, a little bit, but I know Pittsburgh won. That surprised me. Everyone had Seattle winning, I think, on our last
Yeah.
show, and they
So did
lost.
I. Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
Also, Tampa Bay did not beat New Orleans, so now they're both tied 8-8. So that
Mm-hmm.
division's up for grabs. Um, just like my good friend and football official mentor Dave said, both of Miami are playing for their division title because
Mm-hmm.
Miami lost like we thought they would to Baltimore. They got blown out. It was close in the first half, but in the second half they got torn up. So Buffalo Miami is playing for that division. It is going to be very interesting. And also there's the Colts and Texans. Colts and Texans are both 9-7. So
Mm.
interesting,
Wow.
interesting things here. But let's talk about our Cowboys. That freaking game.
Whew.
We got to think. What do you got to say on that one, Monty?
Man, like Jimmy Johnson said, how about them Cowboys? But
Oh, that was awesome. He got inducted as Hall of Fame. That's
yeah,
right. We had to
long
mention that.
time coming. Glad he got it. Yeah, I'm glad. But I'm glad they won as a Cowboy fan. But realistically, it just doesn't feel like they won that game, man. They kept Detroit in it. I mean, Detroit's a good team. I mean, good offensive defense,
Yeah,
good defense. Hutchinson just had a gave their linemen trouble. I mean, gave Tyron Smith trouble, put a move on him, and
yeah. He played
man,
lights out.
yeah. Their offense is one of the tops in the league. I mean, hard to stop them. So Dallas is fortunate to come out lucky in this one. I mean, let's talk about CeeDee Lamb for a minute. Man, they had no answers for him.
They
Um,
did. The only thing he screwed up was that stupid fumble in the end zone
oh
for a
God,
touchback.
yeah,
That I
yeah,
felt like we
yeah,
could have been up 14-3 instead of 7-3
yeah,
at halftime. That kind of changed a lot. Also, great, but you're right. CeeDee Lamb had an amazing game, amazing. But
yeah,
just that one play.
yeah. That was big. That maybe would have put the game away, and that kept Detroit in it. But it's a time for them to put up a shot. It's playoff time. I mean, they have a chance to win the division, go up to Washington, take care of business with Philadelphia laying an egg against
Oh my God! Can you believe they lost to
Arizona.
the Cardinals? We
Did
lost to the
not
Cardinals
expect
too.
that.
What is up with that?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't expect that at all. I was under the assumption they were going to win that game, and Dallas
Yeah,
was going to
so
be the
did
fifth
I.
seed.
I thought they had
And
this division. Cowboys
yeah,
have it right now. As long as we
yeah,
win, we got it. Even
yeah,
Philly wins. As long as we win, we still got it. But
yeah,
if we lose and they win, then they got it. Then we're the 5 seed and they're the 2 seed. So that's these both these games are big for Cowboys and Eagles.
yes.
Um, I agree with you. Cowboys couldn't quite put it away. Um, that let's talk about that call for the officials.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Well, first, before that, before the 2-point conversion, let's talk about the completely blown call against the Cowboys. I feel like if that call was done first right, we would never be in another position about the 2-point conversion call.
A tripping call?
The tripping call, yes.
Yes.
People
I
can
don't
talk
know what
about
they saw there.
Detroit fans can talk about all they want about this whole tripping. I mean, not tripping, but the 2-point conversion. But they said that they think their lineman was eligible and all that good stuff. But if you go back to the Cowboys' last possession before that happened, we could have, if we would have, because that was going to be an automatic first down.
Yes.
You know, we're going to be in the red zone, and even if we still settle for a field goal, we're going to bleed so much more time off that clock because they had like a minute and a half, I think, when they got the ball back. They'd have been like only around like 30. I don't know what they would have been, but it would have been like probably like 25 or 30 seconds. They would have bled that thing down, then kicked the field goal because we were forced, you know, we were forcing, you know, Detroit to take their, we were forced Detroit to take their timeouts, and we would just keep on running it, you know, waiting until the last second to hike the ball. Heck, we might have been able to run the clock out without kicking the field goal. I don't know the math, but we might have.
Right.
Either way, I think they wouldn't have hardly any time to have the ball back. And we could have just scored a touchdown to end it 24-13. But either way, we might have been run that clock dry and win 17-13. So they can talk about that whole little, you know, 2-point conversion thing all they want. But but I think what led to the drama was the missed call with the tripping. They called it on our tight end, but actually it's on Aiden Hutchinson. So yeah, sorry, Detroit fans, you have a good team. This is your first time being good in a while. I know you guys are excited, and rightfully so. Because one of my good friends at work is a Detroit fan, and he's also a Michigan fan. And we were actually watching the game together at one of our other friends' houses. All three of us were watching the Michigan-Alabama game, and that's the first thing he brings up to me. I'm like, dude, slow your roll, brother. I love you, but it got messed up before the 2-point conversion. It got messed up on that tripping call. So, and Miguel sent me a link about how the referee came over the mic saying number 70 is eligible, but 68
I saw that.
Not the ball. So
yeah, I saw it.
Some people were saying the officials got it wrong, and 68 was the one that was eligible, but he called number 70 over the mic. So, but like I said, I don't think we would be in that situation if it wasn't for that tripping calls or calling it on the wrong team on tripping. So that's just me.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. Detroit fans are going to talk about this for the whole playoffs, maybe years to come. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know that lineman was reporting pretty much the whole game, and Dan Campbell threw that in as a wrinkle to kind of confuse Dallas, but I guess it backfired.
Yeah.
I don't know if the ref wasn't paying attention to him or somehow missed him, because this whole crew is getting punished for, I guess, that tripping call and this whole situation by not being allowed to call the playoffs.
I think they're not doing playoff games or something.
Yeah. So there's something going on there, but yeah. Detroit had their chances to win it. They did. I mean, it shouldn't have led to this. And if it was against the Cowboys, it would have been the same thing. I mean,
yeah, both teams had their chances all game.
Yeah.
That's another thing I said at work. I mean, I get it. I'm not making excuses for officials because I am one. But at the end of the game, everything is magnified. But here's the thing: that's one play. That's one play out of like 60 plus plays you have on offense or defense to make things different.
Right.
So you're not in this position at the end of the game. So you can look at it however you want to. But at the end, everything gets really tight, and that's what all the fans remember, and everyone starts going nuts because how the referees lost the game for us. I'm like, no. You had 60, 70 other plays to not make this a close game or to not put yourselves in that position or whatever. But it does look bad, though. It does look bad on the officials, and they are getting punished. And it's definitely not a good look on that officiating crew. There's no doubt about that. Like, they can't make excuses, but I don't think they lost the game for Detroit.
Right.
And people can say I'm biased because I'm a Cowboys fan. That's what Rick was saying. Of course, Rick is going to talk trash to me because he's going to be the devil's advocate no matter what I say. So, that's just Rick. You know Rick. So
yeah.
But I think both Dallas and Detroit had their chances. Like I said, CeeDee Lamb could have made it 14-3. Like I said, that would put us in the driver's seat for the second half. Like, we could have done things better too. So that's just my take. All right, Let's talk about AFC and NFC where people are standing at.
Yeah.
AFC Ravens are still number 1 at 13-3. Dolphins are still number 2, 11-5. Chiefs are number 3 at 10-6. The Browns are the 5th seed at 11-5. Jags are the 4th seed at 9-7, but they have a lot going on in their division too. Like,
Yeah.
because there's a lot that because they're in the same division as the Colts and the Houston Texans, and they're all 3 of them are 9-7 actually. So there's a lot going on in that division, like how those playoffs.
Wow, 3 teams can make it. Wow.
All that division's playoff scenarios are just crazy.
Wow.
6th seed is Bills at 10-6. The 7th seed is currently the Colts at 9-7. They held on. They were the 7th seed last week too, so they're still the 7th seed. But of course, the Texans and the Steelers. Texans are 8th seed at 9-7, and the Steelers are 9th seed at 9-7. The Steelers can still get in.
Yeah.
If the Jags lose, they can still get in somehow. I don't know the exact scenario, but if the Jags lose, they can still get in, but they would need some help. But I think for that, those teams need to win their games, man. Those 3 teams at 9-7, they need to win their games to put themselves in the driver's seat, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'm a little puzzled. Well, not puzzled, but this team that's been throwing us off all season has been the Steelers.
Yeah.
Picking them to win and they lose, picking them to lose, they win. I wasn't sure about the Seattle game, but they went in there and man, they played
well. Yeah. I think Rudolph has really come to play.
Oh yeah.
They benched Mitch Trubisky and they put in Rudolph, and he's made a big difference. He's won. I think they've won 2 in a row because of him. So yeah.
And I think they can win 3 in a row. They're playing at Baltimore, but Baltimore has nothing to play for. They have the number 1 seed locked up. I don't think Lamar Jackson's playing. He probably
shouldn't play. He has no reason to.
Right. So that's the game that they need more than Baltimore, obviously. So that's the game I see them winning. Now I think it depends on the teams ahead of them. No matter what happens, whether they win or lose, they may not get in. But for sure, they got to win the game to give themselves a chance.
Well, the Texans and the Colts are playing each other, and they're both 9-7. So they're playing each other on Saturday. Like you said, and the Steelers or Ravens are playing on Saturday. Like you said, those are the 2 Saturday games. The rest are Sunday. So, that's crazy. That's so crazy. A lot of different things could go different ways, man. But I know for the Colts and Texans, if they win that game, whoever wins that game, I know for sure they're in. So the Colts and Texans, you need to win that game. Then you don't got to worry about what happens in other games.
Right.
Right. Let's talk about NFC. Then we talk about some of the Saturday and Sunday games who we got winning. 49ers locked up the number 1 seed. At 12-4, just like the Ravens got their lock up at number 1 at 13-3. Cowboys are currently the 2 seed, like we said earlier. Since Philly lost to Arizona, which was surprising. Cowboys are number 2 seed, 11-5. Lions are number 3 seed, 11-5. Eagles are the 5 seed, 11-5. They lost 3 out of 4. Rams are in no matter what. They're locked in the playoffs, just like all teams ahead of them. The Rams are the 6th seed at 9-7. Like they're in no matter what. Just like the teams ahead of them in the NFC that I already mentioned. And then Bucs are the 4th seed, still at 8-8. But if they don't win, they're out. There's only one team making it out of the NFC South. That's whoever wins this next game. And then Packers took the 7th spot from the Seattle Seahawks at 8-8. But Seattle can still make it in. They're the 8th seed at 8-8. The Saints are the 9th seed at 8-8. So Vikings and Falcons still got chances at 7-9, but I'm not even counting them. If they get in, I'll be amazed. I think it's between the first 9 teams I mentioned.
Yeah, I don't see either one of those.
I don't see them doing it. Like they'll have to have so much go right for them. It's not even funny. But the Saints can get in if they beat the Bucs, and the Bucs will be out, and the Saints will take the 4th seed away from them. And either us or the Eagles will be playing one of those teams. The 5 seed will play the 4 seed, so hopefully we're the 2 seed, so we don't got to worry about it. So it could be the Eagles playing either the Saints or the Bucs. I think they'll lose like we beat Tampa Bay last year on the 4 or 5 seed. I think the NFC South isn't very good, so I think whoever plays either the Bucs or the Saints. I mean, it's still an NFL game, so you never know. There's always upsets, but I like
Right.
the NFC East chances in that game. Put it that way.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the playoff prediction for. I mean, that's the playoff scenario for the AFC and the NFC.
Hmm. I like that they put the maybe the best game, maybe the most meaningful game. They flexed that to the Sunday night game, and that's the Bills and Dolphins game. Whoever
Yes.
wins that game wins the division.
Yep.
So yeah, that was a good move on the NFL's part to put that game last. Everybody will be tuned in, I'm sure, whether you're a fan of either of those teams or not. Yeah, so I like how NFL has a setup where you're playing a division rival, your week 18, because that
Yeah, that's
game,
good.
yeah, it means something pretty much to all these teams or almost all these
Yeah, I
teams.
agree. I like it.
So yeah, I hope the NFL keeps this up. And yeah, I like how they flex that game out.
Yeah, I like it too. It makes it very interesting. There's a lot of interesting games this weekend. A lot of things are undecided. But let's go over some picks. The first game is Steelers at Ravens, and you said you got the Steelers winning because of Lamar Jackson. A lot of people sitting out, nothing to play for. You're probably right. So I'm taking it you got the Steelers at the Ravens.
Yeah, yeah. They have more to play for. I mean, they still may not get in no matter what, but if they lose, for sure they're not going. So yeah, they need to win this game. So I have them winning it.
I'll take the Steelers to win. Rudolph is hot. Maybe he'll stay hot, but I won't be surprised if somehow the Ravens win because their backup isn't bad. I can't remember who it is, but you never know those guys.
Yeah.
But I'll take the Steelers because. And one interesting thing before we go to the next game is Mike Tomlin has not had a losing season in 17 years as a head coach of the Steelers. That's freaking amazing. We had to
And they're
mention
still
that.
talking about firing him. I mean, that I don't understand these fans.
Yeah, how are you gonna fire a guy who hasn't like had a losing season yet? Yeah, that's insane. I know sometimes they haven't got very far in the playoffs the last 5 or 6 years, and sometimes they haven't got in,
Yeah.
but still he's a good freaking coach and he holds his players accountable. Like we
Yes.
talked about a couple shows ago when his receiver didn't block for the running back to score a touchdown, he lit that guy up. He's
Yeah.
not afraid to talk to these NFL guys. Like he's kind of like Bill Belichick in a way. If you don't fit on my team, like I'll get rid of your butt. So yeah, I like Tomlin. I like Mike Tomlin a lot. Let's talk about next game. Texans at Colts, the big one for the AFC South. Oh my God. I want my Texans to win, but the Colts and Minshew are playing really well, and it's at the Colts. But I want my heart wants the Texans to win.
Same here.
But I don't know if they're going to do it. But I will go with the Texans. I will go with the away team, but it's going to be hard. Who do you got?
I'm going with the Texans. CJ Stroud was kind of, man, he didn't make the Pro Bowl, which I'm surprised. I'm surprised about that.
That is
So
surprising. He's
yeah,
went
I
off.
thought he would get in there. So based on that alone, just from my head, I'd like to see him win that game. I mean, I'm just going with my head on this one. Let's go Houston.
All right. Jags at Titans. Titans are bad. Jags got a lot to play for. They're still playing for playoff positions because they want to get in, so they're not sitting anybody out. We know that. Yeah, I'll go with another away team, the Jags. I got the Jags to pull this one out. It'll make things really interesting in their division. Yeah.
Man, the Titans have been a surprise on some games. I know they've only won 5 games. They surprised us beating Miami a couple weeks ago. They would love to be the spoiler for Jacksonville.
Absolutely
That's
would.
for sure. And that's the role they're playing, spoiler. But no, I'm taking Jacksonville.
Vikings at Lions. I got the Lions. They'll bounce back. Dan Campbell's a real fiery coach. Vikings had their chances to make the playoffs, but they've tailed off in the wrong direction the past 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, I got the Lions to bounce back. They've already got their division locked up, so they might be sitting a lot of guys out, but I still think they'll win somehow. I think they'll win.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Monty.
Yeah, I expect them to take a big lead in first half, maybe sit everybody out in the fourth quarter. We'll see a bunch of backups. But yeah, I think the Lions will still win this game.
Yeah. I think they'll bounce back. Dan Campbell don't want them to lose. That dude's a fiery guy.
Oh
Even though they
yeah,
already got the 3 seed locked up, he don't care.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll play hard. Falcons at Saints. Dirty Birds just haven't been right since they lost the Super Bowl, like I said many times. And I got the Saints.
Mhm.
You know, the Saints' offense has been very up and down. One thing I know for sure is they got a really good defense.
Mhm.
Their offense has been really good with some weeks and horrible other weeks, and they're arguing and yelling at each other on the sideline. But Saints do have good wide receivers, though. Uh,
Yes.
Olave, the Ohio State receiver, um, Michael Thompson. They got other guys.
Yes.
They got Moreau's a good tight end. They have the receivers.
Yes.
They just got to They've been inconsistent this year in offense, but I still got them winning this game against the Falcons. The Falcons are done. Sorry, Falcons fans.
Yeah. Yeah. New Orleans needs this game to at least have a shot at getting into the playoffs, battling out Tampa Bay. So yeah, I think they'll win this game.
Jets at Pats, not really a whole lot to play for. I don't know why I was even
No.
covering that game. Probably should get the more meaningful games, but I already said it, so I'll take the Pats. I think Bill Belichick will get his last win, maybe as the New England coach. Do you think he's going to be there next year?
Boy, I I heard something today that he's supposed to have a meeting with Kraft today.
Yep, I heard that
Uh,
too.
okay, so yeah, it's not looking like it. He may go to a team that needs a coach right away. He may
Yeah,
go to a team that my prediction, and I hope I'm not jinxing this. If Dallas lays an egg in the first round of the playoffs, I think he'll be their coach next year, and McCarthy will get fired. I
mhm.
hope that doesn't happen as a Cowboy fan, but if that happens, I think that's what's gonna. I think Jerry Jones will pull that trigger to get him.
To get Belichick.
Belichick.
That's an interesting call there. I like that though. I'd
Yeah,
rather have Belichick than McCarthy, to be honest with you.
yeah, yeah. If they lay an egg in the first round, for sure McCarthy will be gone if they do that. That's an easy prediction, but
Yeah,
Belichick will coach the team if
I like
McCarthy gets
that.
fired.
Yep,
Yeah,
I like
but
that.
yeah, they might be just playing for draft picks here. I think the quarterback from USC will go to New England. So no, I got the Jets winning.
You get the Jets. I got the Pats still, but yeah, the Jets could win. They won last week. I mean, with all the crazy things going on with them, they still. I mean, obviously they're not going to be in the playoffs, but they're not. They didn't completely tank. So
Yeah.
they still won 7 games so far. They might get their 8th win, so they
Mhm.
might finish 8-9 or 7-10. We'll see. Um, Bucs at Panthers. Yeah, I got the
Mm.
Bucs this one. Panthers only won 2 games.
Yeah.
Um, Bucs surprisingly lost, but I think they'll bounce back on the away. I mean, they have an easy. I won't say an easy game. No game is easy in NFL, but this is a good last game for them to help their playoff chances out. Put it that way. I got
Yeah,
the
the
Bucs.
Bucks. Tampa Bay was the hottest team in the NFL for a while until
They
they
won
lost
four
this week.
games in a row. Yeah, surprised
Yeah,
New Orleans.
yeah, but yeah, they'll get back on track against Carolina. Even though it's on the road, I still think Tampa Bay will win this game.
Yeah, Carolina just don't got a whole lot right now.
Yeah,
Let's skip some games. Bears. Well, there's Browns and Bengals, but we'll skip that because Bengals are out. Browns are
yeah,
just sitting. They're just waiting for the playoffs. Bears at Packers. The Packers got a lot to play for. I got the Packers. I
yeah,
really like how Jordan Love has played this year. Everyone was on his case in the first half of the year, but I've been telling people I like this guy. I'm glad he's making me look good because he's played really well in the second half of the season, and he is Green Bay's quarterback of the future. They got really good
yeah,
young wide receivers, a lot of them, like
yeah,
3 or 4 of them. They have a good team coming in the future.
yeah. Good young team. Yes.
Yeah, whether they make the playoffs or not, I like their future. But I got the Packers winning this game at home against the Bears. But oh boy, for the Bears, Justin Fields has been playing good. He won last week, like Dave said. They beat
Mm-hmm.
I said they would lose. I can't remember who they were playing last week, but I said they would lose that game, and they won. So
Yeah, they played good.
yeah, they played really good. But I got
Another team that would love to play the role of spoiler here is Chicago. It's a big matchup. It's always a good rivalry between these two teams, but no, I like the Packers to win at home.
okay, me too. We got to talk about our Cowboys real quick against the Commanders. We need to win this game, this ice
Yeah,
division. I think we will. We're good against bad teams. Obviously, Commanders are a bad team. We should be okay. But like I said, it is any given Sunday NFL. It doesn't mean that nothing's an automatic win, but I definitely like our chances, especially with how good we play against teams like the Commanders, so we should win and probably win big. So
Yeah, they're favored by 13. I expect them to cover. I don't know if you noticed this in past games at Washington. There's always a lot of Cowboy fans there.
mhm.
Maybe 50-50, maybe a little more. Why that is,
That's
I have no idea.
crazy. Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
yeah,
That's a long ways away too.
yeah. So yeah, it's a game that Dallas needs to win to keep that second seed. To have a well, no road's easy once you go to the playoffs, but to have a easier road to at least meet San Francisco in the championship. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's go Cowboys. Let's get this one. I got Dallas.
Eagles at Giants. Will the Eagles bounce back? Oh, I think they will lose again.
Yeah,
I got the G-men. The
yeah.
Giants, the Giants are out of the playoffs, but I think they're gonna play spoiler. It's a rivalry game, and I think the Giants will get their last win of the year with Tyrod Taylor.
Mhm.
Um, and Saquon Barkley's had a good second half of the year after he had his high ankle sprain, missing
Yes.
for weeks. He still might rush for 1,000 yards after missing 4 games. That's pretty impressive. He's
Yeah.
close. I think he's around 900 some yards. So if he doesn't, for him to even be close to 1,000, missing 4 games is pretty good. So I got the G-men to upset the Eagles. I'm hoping so. Come on, G-men.
The Giants have always played the Eagles tough. They should have won that first
Always,
game.
yes.
The Giants should have won that game against the Rams last week.
Yep.
Yeah, should have had that game won. Playing at New York, I'm sure everybody's going to play this game just to send the Eagles off on a losing streak. And I think the Giants can do it. Yeah, I like New York.
Seahawks at Cardinals. Seahawks need this bad. Even if they win, there's no guarantee they get in. But if they do win, they have their playoff hopes are still alive, depending on what happens with other teams. God, I'm surprised the Cardinals beat the Eagles and the Cowboys earlier this year. But I
Yeah.
got the Seahawks to bounce back somehow. Like somehow, some way, they will bounce back. Seahawks win this game. They got so many weapons on offense. I think they'll bounce back in this game, man. Geno Smith needs to play a freaking good game, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of weapons on that team. Cardinals played the best game of the season
Yeah, they
against
did. That's surprising,
Philly
man.
last week. I mean, man, they just couldn't stop couldn't stop them.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I think Seattle they should win this game.
I agree. The Rams at 49ers really doesn't matter. Rams and 49ers are both in.
No.
I don't know who's going to win that game, but
Neither team has anything to play for, really.
no one has anyone to play for. So that game isn't going to be anything. Let's go with the big one, the big kahuna that we were talking about earlier. Bills at Dolphins playing for the AFC East. Bills at Dolphins. Bills were playing a lot better. They had their wake-up call when they beat the Cowboys. They seem to be playing really good. Dolphins are good at home, though. They want to bounce back after being embarrassed by the Ravens. I know my brother-in-law Chris is a Bills fan, so I'm sure he wants the Bills to win. But I think Bills have won, I think, the division 3 or 4 years in a row. I think the Dolphins have finally come through and get this division. I think Dolphins will win at home. I think the Dolphins will not let the Bills continue to run this division. I think Dolphins will finally get their first division title in a while.
Yeah. The key for Miami, I think, is to put Josh Allen under pressure, and he'll throw an interception if you do that. I mean, he's known to put the ball in harm's way multiple times, and if they do that, they can win this game. I think they can win this game handily by 10 points at least. So yeah, I got Miami.
Yeah, I got Miami. Well, all right. That's it, folks. That's it for our predictions. Wow, man. Like me and Monty said, open the show. Hopefully, the national championship game for college is as good as we think it's going to be, and we'll see what happens in these NFL playoff games and see who gets in. Let us know who you guys think will get in, what your predictions are for the NFL playoffs and the games this week, and who you think will win. The national championship for college football. I'm hoping it's Michigan, but if UW wins, so be it. So, but thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing, and we will see you next week. You got anything in closing, Monty?
Yeah. Thank you all. Looking forward to hearing from you. Let's all, like T.O. said in the past, get our popcorn ready. Let's watch that national championship. It's going to be a classic. Can't wait to talk about it next week.
Yeah, it should be fun. And hopefully I'm talking, being happy that Michigan won. So, all right.
Yes.
Take care, people. Peace. Have a good night.